Okay, hi, it's your sewing shop Shana, and this is part 2 of Valentine's situation gift or experiment number 2. So, part 1, I made the collar for Watson, and in between him and now I made a little collar for Haley, and now I'm gonna make a scrunchie for me so we can all match. Why not? Why not? So, nothing else better to do than hang out with the dogs in the park with matching collars and scrunchies when you're quarantining from the C word. I shouldn't be contagious anymore, so yeah. So I have a hair scrunchie that works for me. I don't really wear hair scrunchies all that often, but I'm using it as a pattern. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and this is your little lesson for the day in pattern making. This is how a lot of patterns are made. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Take the scrunchie and pull it out to its full length, which is about 8.5 inches, times that by 2, and that is 17 plus a seam allowance of, let's give it a half-inch seam allowance on both sides. We'll make that 18 inches. We're going to cut a piece 18 inches long, and then I'm going to measure how wide this is, and it is 1.5 inches times 2, which would be 3, plus a half-inch seam allowance is 3.5 by 18. Remember that for me, 3.5 by 18. So now if I pull this really hard, I can see, crappy sewing. I didn't unpick that. They just didn't finish it. But you can see the elastic they have inside. It's just like this cord elastic, and they happen to have a bunch of that sitting around. So I've got some cord elastic, and I'm going to cut that to the finished length of the scrunchie, which is approximately this, plus, the thing is, so I'm going to measure that. And that is approximately 7.5 inches. So I don't know if this cord elastic, how you finish it. Let's use a cord stop or something, 7.5 inches. So I think I'm going to give myself extra and then just tie a knot in it. Hopefully, that will be the situation. We'll see. Okay, so those are my numbers and I'm going to forget them. And if I had a pen or a pencil, I could write them down. I have a piece of chalk. So 7.5, and then what were the other two? 3.5 and 18. That's what I remember. All right, so I have this ruler here. It's precisely 18 inches long. So shocker, I'm going to use that for my length situation here. So I'm going to draw here, that's 18 inches. This is 2 inches wide, so I'm going to scoot it up so that it's 1 more inch up from there. And then go around, and look at that. I've got my 18 by 3. Oh wait, it was 3.5. Okay. Now I'm gonna have a little chalky chalk showing on my hair thing. I'm gonna get a little chalk in my hair. 3.5. All right. All right, so now I'm going to fold it in half. Maybe I can get that chalk to come out somehow. Come on, old scrunchie, take that chalk out. All right, I'm going to fold this in half lengthwise, and I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to sew all the way down this outside edge, a 1/4 inch seam allowance, because I gave myself 1/2 inch total, but I'm going to leave a little opening so I can flip it out later. You gotta remember to leave a little opening, okay? So here I go over to the sewing machine, 1/4 inch. Regular stitch length, 2.5. Put my light back here. Alright, so I get to the stopping point, stop, needle up, slide, needle down. I'm going to go to the end, making sure I can see both layers because it's a small scale. All right. All right, so now I've got that done-ish. And my next step is to tuck it this side in the hole till this bottom edge meets that top edge. And what would be perfect for this is a loop turner. And there's no possible way. Oh, check it out. I left myself a handy loop turner, loop turner. All right, so I got it started with my finger, and you can actually do the whole thing with your finger. It's not that hard to do with your finger, but you can also grab the end, and I'm going fishing for the end. I'm going fishing for the end on Valentine's Day. That's right. All right, so I pulled it out. Now you're going to be tempted to pull it all the way out. Whatever you do, do not pull it all the way out or you'll be sorry. So now here's the hardest part of this whole thing is that I've got to sew this end closed like in a circle. Holy Mary, that's a small circle. Is that really only how wide that is? What kind of foot are they using to go around that circle? Anyways, I'm going to give it a try. All right, try. Maybe it'll refocus on that. Right there. Maybe this will help. There we go. Yeah, won't help me, help you. All right, so I've got a really long presser foot on right now to start with. I might need to put a shorter presser foot. Sucks. But sometimes I have shorter presser feet. I'll just start comparing the lengths. Which one's the shortest? Ooh, this one's kind of short. Is it? Ooh, much shorter than that one. So sometimes it's the foot. Oops. I just touched my foot to the tip of my needle, which means my needle could potentially be dull now. All right, let's see if I can get this in here. Oh my God, barely. This is ridiculous. I think home sewing feet might be a little bit shorter. But you know what? Just make the scrunchie wider. I'm just kind of sewing 1/4 of an inch at a time and turning it, trying not to get the top layer caught. How do they make Barbie clothes? You know what I mean? Deep thought of the day. Like, how do they do Barbie clothes? They've got to have some really tiny feet. Maybe there's like a presser foot you can get that's called the Barbie foot. I have to look into that. Like, we could do a whole line of sewing feet called Barbie sewing feet. And it's not so that Barbie can sew, it's so you can sew Barbie's stuff. All right, I made it all the way around. Yes, I did. So now I've got like this inside out, backwards, upside down tube that's like kind of frightening, but I've got this little like hole here. And I'm going to pull this out and below my mind, right? Right. So, what the? Right? Same way you do an infinity scarf. It's crazy. You know what I mean? The trick is to not pull it all the way up through. You gotta just line up the top edges, close that top edge, and then pull it out through your little hole. Little hole in your project, not through your little hole. Okay, so now I've got to string some elastic through, and I've got a big knot here, so I think I'm going to actually use that knot to help me slide it through. I could also use a bodkin. I have a bodkin. It's in the other room. If you want to wait for me, I'll go get it, but I think, you know, you might not have a bodkin, so can you just use the knot in the elastic to run the elastic through? And it's so much slower than a bodkin. But once I get halfway, I can actually use my loop turner to grab onto it and finish it. But the problem is, you know, the loop turner does not go in a circle. So you can't put the loop turner all the way in. You can only put the loop turner in halfway in. Otherwise it won't work. So I'm about halfway. Loop turner in. And there's my elastic. I'm gonna go fishing for it. So gates open. Got it. Ooh, and I lost it. Gates open. Got it. And there it is. Alright, so I pulled my elastic through. And then I decided that the length of the elastic needed to finish out at 7.5 total. So I pull this down till it's about there, which is, I don't want to waste elastic. I mean, I don't care if I waste elastic, but in the spirit of the century, where's my tape measure? There. 3.5, that's about there, okay. So the idea is I'm going to tie a knot in the elastic. Do I have to do both of them at the same time? I think I do actually, otherwise this knot will come out. And this knot is now 4 inches down. All right, I'll pull it a little bit further up. Although I tied it awfully darn tight and I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get it up. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get it out. Put that in there and let's just see how this works. Scrunchie. It's not as soft and elastic as the other one is. I can't go 3 times, I can go 2 times. So, anyways, you get the idea. I might fuss around with the length of the elastic a little bit, and I do have this little hole here, so once I'm done fussing with my elastic, I'm gonna put this little inch under the sewing machine and just, with the edges folded under, just kind of sew it closed a little bit. Or if you don't want your sewing to show, you could always like whip stitch it closed, slip stitch it closed, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Have fun and happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys are having a great day and feeling well. Keep on sewing.